what I want to talk about is how, as males, it can be easy for us to fall into toxic behaviour patterns. And one of them specifically that I fell into for 32 years of my life was asking others what I should do. Now, the reason why I absolutely love coaching is because it enables us to really start to think for ourselves. And coaching asks probing questions to really get out of us the answers that we know deep down. So for the majority of my life, I'd spent so much of it asking people what I should do. And this could be friends, it could be clients, a partner, like mum and dad. It literally, anyone and everyone, I would ask them what they think that I should do. Now, after going through that coaching program, it's really enabled me to start stepping into a man and move away from being the boy that I was. And the reason why I say that is because think about, I know that the majority of the people that watch my videos are females, so it's a little bit backwards here, but so as a man in a relationship, or a male in a relationship, a woman doesn't want us to constantly ask them permission for what we should or shouldn't do. Our job and our role as a man, in my honest opinion, in the world, is to create certainty and create safety. Now, in a relationship, if, say for instance, I was showing up in that relationship and I was uncertain and indecisive and was unsure about my whole life and myself and lacked confidence and, was going around with my shoulders hunched over and, looking at things like, I don't really know what I should be doing and I don't really know who I am, and that isn't going to allow your partner to feel safe. And when your partner, the female or the feminine, I'm not going to get too complicated with this, but I'm talking specifically about the feminine energy. And if the feminine energy and the female doesn't feel safe, they're not then going to show up in their true potential, their true divine feminine. They're not going to be able to show up in the most loving way that you would want them to show up. And the reason for that, the majority of the time in a relationship, is because you haven't created that certainty and that safety in the relationship for your partner to step into that safety and then show up lovingly and as the woman that you want them to show up as. Now, this is something that I've only really started to understand. The areas in my life that I was uncertain about, and the areas in my life that I wasn't in integrity, meant that I wasn't holding and creating that safety for previous partners and, friendships and Charis earlier on. And it's really made me recognise that as men, if we're not fully stepping up to our mission and like I just said, our mission is to create security and safety for the feminine, or our women, females, then our women, the feminine, isn't going to step into who we would like them to be and who they are deep down. But we have to create that safety in our relationship and in the world for them to be able to do that. Now, after going through that coaching program that I've just finished, it's made me really start stepping away from what I think I should be and asking, others, what do you think that I should be doing? Like, what do you think I should do with my life? And when I started to step away from should and step into know, I don't mean N-O, I mean K-N-O-W. Once I started to step into know, and it come from a deep place of knowing what I should be doing and, how I should be showing up in my life, everything, and I literally mean everything, from my life, my relationship, my business, everything is just now starting to really fall into place. And it's only come from me stepping into that sense of deep knowing. Now, as men, it's so hard because if we've grown up and we haven't had that strong like male role model in our lives to really like direct us and almost teach us what it means to be a man, then obviously we're either going to fall into, now this is a term that I fucking hate, but I will use it because you'll understand it. We will either fall into toxic masculinity, or we will start looking for that positive male role model to help direct us towards what it actually means to be a man. And I think so many males, myself included, struggle to actually speak to other males about everything that we're struggling with, and we look at other males as competition, when actually it's our job to work together to create this security and safety. Now, if I would have known this years ago, I said this to Charis yesterday, I don't think that I would have fell into some of the behaviour patterns that I fell into. And I'm not judging that, and I'm not saying I wish I didn't fall into them, because I wouldn't have arrived at the place that I am now, and I wouldn't be able to speak about the things that I'm speaking about, and I wouldn't be able to help the people that I know that I will be helping. But now I have this knowledge, it's my responsibility to now start bringing this to the world. And by bringing it, I don't just mean what I'm creating in the brotherhood that I'm creating, or the men's programs, or the conversations that I'm having with men. I mean bringing it to the world through myself. I have to be this and live this first. And once I really start stepping into this work and stepping into like this deep knowing and my true purpose, then I can start creating it outside of myself. And these last couple of months have just been so transformational for me. And I really recognise what it means to be a man, and how for 32 years of my life I was a boy. And I don't mean that to shame myself, and I'm not judging myself. I'm saying that purely based on facts. I had no clue what it meant to be a man. I thought you get to a certain age, you start doing some things that society tells you should do to be a man, and I truly believed that is what made you a man. I couldn't be further from the truth. being a man means living in integrity and creating security and safety for the world and our women. And that sounds a bit like I'm not going to change the world. And I don't mean I'm not going to change the world. I mean, you listening to that, you will think, yeah, but I'm not going to change the world. And that is exactly what boys think. And that's exactly what I thought. What the fuck could I bring to the world that really made that much difference? What I can bring to the world that makes that much difference is stepping out of boyhood and into manhood. Because once I start living in alignment with who I truly am and being the man that I know I am, and Charis deserves me to be, and the world deserves me to be, then I start indirectly teaching others through what I am myself, and directly teaching others through what I'm bringing to the world based on what I've learned myself over the last 12 weeks, especially through the coaching program that I went through, but the last 32 years of my life. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this video was, as men, I won't say men, I'll say males. As males, we get so caught up in these beliefs and stories that we have to have our shit together, and we can't open up about our fears and our insecurities, and that is such bullshit, because once we actually start opening up about what we're scared about, our struggles, our insecurities, like where we're not stepping up in our lives, and allow other men to see us fully for who we actually are, the transformation that really delivers is so profound, because it completely breaks this whole societal norms of men should constantly be in competition with each other, and it really enables men. Sorry, like I said, my kitten will be running around like a headless chicken. It really enables men to start supporting each other to really be our truest, most powerful selves, and in turn, we can then be better for our women. And once we can fully start doing that, the world will be a better place. It's a no-brainer. But first of all, we have to start recognising where we're not showing up and not stepping up. And to some degree, we need to be called out on that. We can't live in this victim mentality of, I can't do this, and I don't have enough money, and whatever these stories are. Because, and for whatever reason you believe these stories, right now, those stories might actually be true, but we can always do something. And once we start actually understanding that as males, we can step into manhood and really take responsibility for our lives, we can create the life and the relationship that we truly desire, and create so much safety for the world and our women. But first of all, it comes down to us doing the work. Anyway, that's just something that I really wanted to get out today, because it's something that, as I mentioned, I've struggled with for so many years of my life. And I want to break these patterns of males fucking constantly competing and fighting and being jealous of each other, and it's all bullshit. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this.